literacy projects, and I know you are not going to disappoint. So, Hafa day, Vicky. Good to see you.
Hafa day, nice to see you as
All right.
well.
What have you got for us going on at UOG Press today?
The latest issue of Storyboard. And
Excellent.
so Storyboard 18 will be launching this Thursday at 5 p.m. at Asiga behind Oka Payless.
Sure.
And the theme for this storyboard is Sustainable Islands. So Storyboard is the literary journal that's published by the Division of English and Applied Linguistics at the university. And it's a journal of Pacific imagery, so it includes prose, poetry, beautiful artwork, and it's actually been around now for over 20 years, and this is the 18th issue, and it publishes some student work, but also work from writers, not just from Guam, but throughout the Pacific, and writers who are from Guam that are living away from home. And so it's been an amazing, journal to look forward to every year to really see what people are up to in terms of their writing. And a lot of the authors in this journal have gone on to publish other works. And so it's a really wonderful gateway for those who really want to get into publishing. And so this issue of Storyboard was edited by Holly Rustick, who's a faculty at the Division of English and Applied Linguistics. And when she was teaching her English composition courses, she had asked her students to write an essay about sustainability. And she was really surprised that many of them didn't write about sort of the contemporary notions of sustainability, like going green or recycling or things like that. Instead, for them, being island peoples, sustainability had more to do with legends and family customs and keeping traditions alive. And so she thought it was really beautiful that as islanders, we have a different understanding of what sustainability means, and she wanted to open this up to the community and see if these same themes came out in people's writings. And so that's how she chose the theme of sustainable islands. And in fact, it did turn out that way. A lot of the pieces ended up being a lot to do with people's identity and culture and passing on, heirlooms and traditions. And so,
because when everybody thinks of sustainability, they think of like environmental sustainability,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, coming from Guahan, where, Itau Tau Tanu, right, we are people of the land. So there's this notion that we as people are inextricably connected to the land that we are from, and vice versa. So we are who we are because of this land, and this land is what it is because of us. And so therefore it's inherent in us to think about sustainability. And so in thinking of how we sustain the people, then we are also thinking about how we sustain the land. And so I actually thought it would be really lovely to share a piece with the audience today.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Storyboard features poetry, prose, and artwork. And so I'm going to share a poem by someone who did contribute both poetry and artwork to the journal. And her name is Veroni Sablan. And the piece I'm going to share is called Magahaga.
Very fitting.
Very fitting. Magahaga, my little girl, I hope you know that your brown skin makes you more than beautiful. Even the flowers that you wear silently sit and stare at all the beauty you behold. Because envious are those who will never know true beauty within their soul. My strong girl, I hope you see that you already have everything you need. Even the wind that blows knows how unstoppable this little Chamorro girl can be. Because there will be those who won't want you to grow. You need to look higher than the trees. Be rooted but rise, heart bold, head high. You were born a Magahaga, more powerful than a queen.
That is beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And so this is the illustration that it's called Floral Crown, also by Veroni Sablan, that is published right after the poem that I just read. And so, I found both the image and the poem to be exactly what we were talking about, sort of a contemporary Chamorro's interpretation of sustainability, sustaining sort of the Chamorro soul and the strength of women, and really imagining, that the limitations of some of our environment in terms of telling us how far we can go. We have to exceed that, and that's how we sustain ourselves. That's how we sustain our lands and
right.
and
the
our
leadership
ocean.
structure, and the innovations in that.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you gave that to Governor Leon Guerrero, she would greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
She's very, very humble. She's not gonna take it as thank you. I'm sure that's really gonna touch her heart.
It is, and that's just one piece. The journal is so full of beautiful poetry, both in English and Chamorro. There's really interesting short stories. So I think it's an exciting addition to Storyboard. And again, it launches this Thursday at ASIGA. They're $10, but we will also have past copies of Storyboard available for sale. And again, ASIGA is right behind Oka Payless from 5 to 7, and the authors will be there to read their pieces and just talk about the work. So it should be a good time.
One thing, Lola, as you were reading that really impressed upon me is, I remember hearing once that they said every culture on earth has some form of poetry inherent to them. Like everybody's able to express themselves, in a very rich, lush way. But obviously not everybody subscribes to, the whole iambic pentameter, structure and everything. When you guys are putting these volumes together, what are you finding in terms of the way different Pacific cultures, like weave, stories and, put words together, and how do they actually tell stories through poetry?
Yeah, there's a lot of rhythm. And so as you noticed when I was reading Veroni's work, there's a natural rhythm to the piece. So it's not so much about rhyming as it is about rhythm and how words look up against each other, or even the inclusion of our indigenous languages throughout the Pacific, I think really makes our poetry very unique. You can see that it comes from an oral tradition. There's documentation in sort of the early accounts of ancient Chamorro life that the poet was actually one of the most revered people in society. That poetry, in fact, and this very spirited style of debate that our ancestors would engage in, called the Mari, were very respected. And so, it's something that I always think about, because I feel like our island is so full of amazing storytellers, and so it's really an exciting place that I have in this community in terms of being able to publish this poetry, to take it from that oral and translate it into a written form. It's just what I think, carrying on this legacy of a great tradition of creative storytelling.
Well, it was a lovely piece, and it was beautifully read by you, so thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you as well.
All right, we'll see you very soon.
See you Thursday at the launch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Congratulations
Thank
once again.
you.
And please stay tuned, because we are back right after this.